viewers, it's another episode of UnsKripted. And as you know, we are always bringing you the great topics just as you want it. Today, we'll have a guest. But before I introduce her, let me tell you about the topic. Today, we're talking about career, navigating the crossroads in career when it comes to the influencing factors that influences the choice of a career and the other influences of your career. Now, I'm about to introduce the crew, the wrecking crew. My name is Titilope. I'm an IT specialist and also an event coordinator. To my left, I have Koye, international lawyer and also MC.
Yep.
To my far right, I have Kumi. Kumi is a business consultant and also a makeup artist. Now to our guest.
Gang.
She's an embodiment of virtue.
What?
She is an AI enthusiast.
Come on now.
And you know, that's like the modern technology of our time.
Yep.
She's an innovator.
Yes.
I'm not just putting words out there. If you check her profile or more, so many innovative ideas out there.
Yeah.
She's a loving wife to her husband. She's an adorable mother to her daughters. And also a great, most sought after mentor. I'm telling you, she's a sought after mentor, especially to the Black community in the Western world that are in technology. Let's give it up for Auntie Shubbie Salami.
Thank you.
So you're welcome, ma. Thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Thank you very much for having me here, and it's a pleasure for me to be here and share some of the things that I've learned along the way in my career and my family life.
Yeah, and most important of all, she's a woman of faith. Auntie Shubbie, I've heard some of your testimonies, and you know, whether you know it or not, they inspire we young people and everybody that is aspiring to balance the work life and also family life. Thank you so much for honoring our invite again.
Thank you.
Yeah, so going straight into the topic, navigating the crossroads in career. What are the influences and what are the choices we could make? So, Shubbie, what are the things you think, are important? Because I know that there are a lot of things that we've spoken about it, when we're having our chat, there are a lot of things that could influence the choice of a career. You have what you read in school, academics. Yeah. You have your, let's say, peer pressure. What's trending now? Your parents, background, culture. Then there are things that you love yourself, like I just like painting, that kind of a thing. So, what do you think are let's say the top 3 or the top 5 factors that one should be considering in the choice of a career?
Honestly, if I look at my life, the career that I have right now wasn't even what I wanted to be. So I would say that, it's one of those things. When I was younger, not small, when I was much younger in Nigeria, I wanted to be an artist. And my dad used to tell me.
What kind of artist?
A painter.
Oh,
I used to draw.
I wanted to.
No, not
not a singer.
Not the music world, but I used to love to paint. And my dad would look at my work and say, "I've never seen someone that is successful alive. You have to be dead for your work to be able to make something."
As a painter.
Look for something else. Then also I wanted to be a fashion designer. And that too, didn't work out because the family that I come from, back then, fashion designing wasn't a huge thing. So I ended up going to university to study communication arts. And the whole idea was the second year, you change to law. And that was the year that they changed law to 5 years, and I couldn't see myself. I couldn't see myself spending 5 years in university at that point in time. So I
go to law school after
that.
So by then, the whole world. So I ended up studying English. I had my BA, and I left Nigeria right after. So I never worked in Nigeria at all. So I don't even know what it means to work in Nigeria. I went straight to England, and then I came to Canada. So my career actually wasn't something that I planned for any of those things that I am today. I didn't plan to be in IT world. When I came to Canada, I started as a business banker at CIBC. That was, back then, 1996, it was kind of like a prestigious job.
Of course.
Because you had your own office and you have a name tag at the door.
Yeah.
And, it was okay. It was paying the bills. It was easy because I had my 2 kids. And I became pregnant again after 5 years of my second child. So I needed something more flexibility. So I moved to TD.
Okay.
Sorry to cut in. When you say flexibility, what exactly? Because I want us to bring out all the juices in this topic. Like when you said you had 2 kids, right?
Yes.
And you were about going for the 3rd round.
Yes.
Child.
Third child.
Yeah.
So what flexibility were you looking for in the exact words?
So having 3 kids in under 5 was going to cost me a lot of money.
Exactly.
So, I mean, babysitting, school.
Daycare.
The first 2 had already started school. That means I needed a nanny to be at home, or I needed to take her to a daycare. So I was considering something that will give me that flex to work from home. So mortgage, TD mortgage managers would work from home back then. I'm not sure what they do right now.
Yeah.
So you only visit your client whenever you want.
You would need to.
That's why I joined them. And I did that for a while until my brother-in-law came to Canada, and it was talking about, some project management job that pays X amount of money and all that. All I did was, what do I need to do?
Because of the money.
Because of the money.
And the flexibility.
Money.
Okay.
To be honest with you, it was basically about money.
Were you comfortable in that space, the business banking thing?
Before considering the
I thought I was comfortable until I heard something else. I mean, that could take me to another
two things.
level.
So 2 things now. You wanted flexibility, and then someone spoke to you about, hey, there's a way to make better
More
money,
money,
right? Okay. All
So
right.
somebody said, he said, and I said, what do I have to do? He said, these are the things and blah, blah, blah. So I went to U of T, and I did that for a while, and I was very fortunate I got a job.
What degree exactly did you?
I actually did a project management.
Is it like
course.
A postgraduate?
No, it wasn't a
A
postgraduate.
certificate?
It was a certificate course.
Okay.
Was it short course or?
It was just like a 3-month course.
3 months. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it was just 3 months, and then you write an exam, and then I applied, and I was very lucky.
Wow.
Okay,
And
so
I think
at this time you had 2 kids. You were pregnant with.
No, 3.
You had 3.
Okay, so the 3 had already come. Okay.
You had 3. Did you hear that? She had 3, and then she still went back to school.
school.
What's your excuse? She went back to school.
Okay.
So were you working and schooling at the same
Yes.
time? So you were working,
Yes.
you were schooling,
Yes.
you were doing childcare.
Yes.
Where was your husband then?
Back then my husband used to shuttle between Nigeria and
Can
Canada.
you imagine?
So
my God.
I would refer myself to as a part-time single mother.
Oh my.
Because the time that he was in Nigeria, I would be the one responsible for the kids.
And you were schooling.
Then I would go to school.
How old was your oldest child?
Oh
then?
my God.
At that time, she must have been like 7.
7. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry. Continue the story.
it just
So, yeah.
interested.
I know. So for me, you have to be determined.
Okay.
There's so many things that you can do in life. If you're not determined, if the want is not strong enough, then you won't do it. You give yourself excuses. I have to pick up the kids. I have to do this. But if your want or the need is very strong, then it pushes you.
So the question is, what should arouse my need to want to change my career? What are the things?
You mentioned money.
Yes.
I mean, but
but should that be like for everyone? Because there's some people that are like, oh, I'm comfortable. Because I can imagine you were like a business banking person. Was there any pressure in terms of finances?
No.
Okay, so why more money?
yeah.
I think that's a rhetorical question.
Sorry. So,
Yeah.
because yes, money is good, but is money a good enough drive to push you?
If you're asking me a personal question, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, your salary is your salary.
Okay.
It's like a cap for you.
Yeah, true.
So
So
how much you can get done with what you have?
and then there's something, like how much is coming at the end of the month.
Yes.
Okay.
It's almost like you're burdened up with that.
Interesting.
So it's not the drive for more money, but it's the drive for better things. So
Getting things done.
because when I say more money, that means I have to go to school. I suffer going to school. So it's not just like the money comes or like
yeah.
that. You have to
You're ready
do
to
something. So and that's why I'm talking about your need and your want.
Okay.
What do you really want in
for
life?
yourself. Okay.
Okay, so my question is do you really have to have a goal? Like, do you really how when people ask like, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 3-year
Yeah.
plan? And all that, do you really need to know what you're doing? Like using the example that you said now, like, okay, you were working with TD, it was good enough until your brother-in-law gave you that opportunity or told you about that opportunity. But like, and you took advantage of that. But like, do you really, as a person, do you really need to know, okay, this is what I want to do? Must you have a goal?
Or you should just go with,
Or go with the flow.
or go with the flow
go-
of,
exactly.
oh, this is
Try and
what
be better
opportunity
every day.
life is
Or
throwing
this
at
is what
me.
is happening now. Why don't I just join the ride?
Or can we have a mix? Is it ever possible to have a mix of both?
Honestly, it is possible.
Okay.
But 5-year goal was a thing of the past. I mean, if you're in the technology world, you know that technology keeps changing. You can't even in the height of technology, you buy a solution today and tomorrow it's already obsolete.
Yeah.
So how can you now say you have a 5-year
Yeah.
plan of your own life?
Wow.
Things change, situation changes.
Yeah.
You may have said that, okay, I'm done with having kids, and you may just get pregnant. And where does that throw you?
Yeah.
It throws you off balance.
So you have
I'm
to
not
quickly
saying 5-year plan is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But you have to have a strategy around your plan. Like, okay,
If
this is where I'm going, but I need X and Y. It doesn't have to be a 5-year. It could be a 1 year. Let me just get this done, because this is what I tell my kids. Don't focus on what you're going to study in the university, because what you study in the university may not be something that you're going to enjoy.
eventually.
Okay.
Focus on getting out of the university. Get a job for 6 months. See whether you like it. See where your passion lies. And then change. And then move. And then think about something else. So, but when you lock yourself in the 5-year plan, it's almost like you put yourself
In a box.
in a box. And if it doesn't work, then you get depressed. Then you get, you feel sorry for yourself. Then you think, oh, life is not good. It's because you've already boxed yourself into a plan. And at the end of the day, the plan is actually with God. He has not shown us what that 5 years. So who am I to now say I have a 5-year plan of myself?
Oh my God.
When unless you're free and the Holy Spirit has actually given you
Like
that
to see.
plan, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you know. I mean, when I'm going to have to divert. When I was at Loblaw for a while, the Holy Spirit showed me when I was supposed to leave the company. And every now and again, when I get frustrated and I'll say, okay, I'm leaving tomorrow, my sister will always call me and say,
When is tomorrow?
you remember what you told me when you're going to leave? And it's not the time now, right?
Oh, I see.
So, and when that time came, I knew. You get rest. You feel at peace making those decisions. So it all depends on who you are. If you're one of those people that you need to be focused, you need a plan to drive, and then you check, then it's good. 5-year plan is good. But I would break it. I'll break it down to 1 year. I'll see how I'm doing, and then add another 1 year, then add another 1 year. But I've never had to have a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
One key thing I hear you say is, flexibility, be open, to, and also the sensitivity. You have to be sensitive to pick
Know when
when
to
those
move.
opportunities. But I don't want us to lose the story you were giving us. So what happened after you completed your course? You were still in banking.
No, I left.
You left. Okay.
Did you?
And you had spent how long then?
I spent about 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yes.
So did you leave when you got a job in project management, or okay?
Exactly. I left. I applied, and I got a job.
Okay.
And back then, it wasn't like this. If you're very strong, and because I've already been in the bank,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it was easier for me to now say, okay, this is what I was doing. Just tailoring my resume to the
Towards that.
same work.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky. I got a job, and since then I've not looked back. And that doesn't mean that I've been the same. I keep changing. I keep learning. I keep taking courses. That's what the flexibility comes. Somebody will say cybersecurity. I want to learn about it, right? I want to, not that I want to take a job, not necessarily that I want to take a job, but I want to understand what it means in that domain, so that when somebody's talking about it, then I can, at least participate into those discussions.
Yeah. In all of, okay,
Now,
Kumi,
I have a
go.
question.
Yeah.
Regarding what you just said, like you've been learning. So is it like from your personal experience, have you had things where you've learned and you've just never used?
Because that seems to be a common trend.
Yeah,
because
And
with
you also
people.
shared that most times you go to university and you see that what you learned is not what you actually practicing when you come out.
Yeah.
So
And exactly, and that's even like even for university, that's even a lot, like because you
Like,
have to go
didn't
to
you just
university.
learn maybe
But,
like
the
3
ones that
weeks?
like the ones that like you're actually working and you're like, okay, especially like during COVID era,
Yeah,
everybody's like, okay,
learning
learn
something.
a skill, learn something. I'm like, okay, let me just learn this one. Let me like personally, I'm going to talk about my experience for like COVID. I
Please go
learned
ahead.
SQL, and it's funny now that I'm just using it, and I was even trying to learn Python. I'm like, yeah, no, this is not for me. But everyone keeps saying, oh, learn it, and for me, like how it was in my head was, if I'm going to learn this thing, I have to
use it.
So, but are there times that you've learned a lot of things, and even up till now, you've never
Or maybe,
used
yeah,
it, or
probably like
it
you
was
never
just for
used it.
knowledge purposes?
I'm of a very different opinion too.
Okay.
okay.
So it may not be exact thing that you learn, but there's some knowledge in that aspect. You
yes.
talk about your SQL. I'm not saying you have to code.
Yeah.
You may not want a job to code. I don't want a job to code. I'm not a developer. I always tell people,
Yeah.
I'm not the smartest in the IT world,
Yeah.
but I manage the smartest people. But when somebody's talking to you about SQL, right, the knowledge, SQL is the very basic, code that anybody can learn because it writes like an English,
Yeah. Okay.
right? And that's why somebody is probably pointing you to Python,
Yeah.
because it's almost the same.
Yeah.
There's no knowledge that
That
is
is lost.
You just reminded me of one of my kids, because I'm always telling her, and she's saying, "What if this is not going to be useful?" It is going to be useful.
So did you hear that? It is going to be useful.
You might
it's
have
very
a
important.
different view,
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah.
because to be honest, I really struggled with that. Like for me, I was just on the mentality like, if I'm going to learn it, I have to use it one
Yes.
way or another.
But eventually you're using it like
No,
a couple of years after.
But like, then I just had to, like, I had a friend tell me that it's okay if I don't use it. Like,
Yeah.
I just learn it for, like,
Just
don't
learning
put
sake.
that pressure on myself. Because for me, I was just like, okay, let me learn this, let me do this. Like,
Yeah.
just because, like, you want to get into trend. And I think at that time, too, BA was happening.
Yeah.
So you just want to get into trend.
Yeah.
So it's just that thing of, as you said, like, learn it, at least you get something from it. You
So if
necessarily
I not
might
be-
not use it how I think I would use it.
Yeah, so that nugget, don't forget, it's eventually going to be useful. Whatever skill set, whatever
Yeah.
training, whatever
In the
thing you've
process.
applied yourself to is going to be useful.
For instance, I had the privilege of studying geography. Nobody knows, most people don't know this story, but it's not useful, Sha, but
Right now.
but the beautiful
But
thing
you use
about
GPS
that
now.
experience is the fact that there were some relationships I was privileged to grow at that period, which became useful later. So it might not be the geography itself.
It might be the process.
It might be the process, and I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that journey with us. So you got into project management, and I'm sure I read your profile. I know we've spoken together, but even when I came to Canada afresh, I've spoken with her in terms of navigating the technology world, and by the grace of God, I was able to get a lot from her and all of that. So in terms of navigating all these changes, moving to project management and then innovation and then AI and all of those things, what impact has those things had on your personal life? And when I say personal, could be like personal, yourself only, family,
yeah.
any other sphere of life.
So there's one thing that is very peculiar to my life. It is dedication.
Okay.
What do you mean by dedication?
What I mean is, I like to see things through.
Oh.
Resonance.
So time, in the real world, you call it time management. Managing your life.
Yeah.
And I have a free mind. And it doesn't matter who the person is. A 10-year-old can come in here and say, Shubbie, I'm learning this, I have an interest.
Okay.
Just to say, okay, so what would that do for you? What would that do for me? Then stuff like, I have a flexible mind to learn, and I'm not afraid to ask questions. So my trajectory in life or in my work life has always been like that. Okay? So I ask questions. I want to learn. And that's why I've been able to move from, like just being, I said project manager. I started as a project coordinator.
Oh.
And project coordinator, maybe /admin.
Okay.
So And I will just share a simple story. And this is why I say flexibility. I used to help them manage resources.
Okay.
And back then it was really on Excel.
I see.
And they didn't have what they use now, like any other tool that they use to manage resources and budget. And my boss then would just ask me to, make note of people that are working. And one day I look at the Excel sheet. I mean, I used to work all weekend. And I look at the Excel sheet and I'm thinking, there has to be
a better way of
There's a better way of doing this.
a better way of doing this, right? So I started asking people, I said, is there a way that we can, do you know anyone that knows how to code? Do you know anyone that knows how to do Excel and all that? And somebody said, oh, call this person. So I called him. I knew what I wanted. And the guy was like, okay, let's see. And then we started figuring it out together. And he built me a code that can actually run this faster than, me spending all the weekend. And I went to my boss the next day on Monday and I said, you know what? I think I have a better way of doing stuff. And this is almost like, he said, okay, show me. And I showed him and he said, did you actually build this? I said, yes. And he asked me a question. He said, do you know how much your Loblaw is paying your agency? I said, I don't know. He said, I'm going to teach you a lesson today. Always ask them. Because I'm going to take you away from here.
Wow.
You're going to be helping me to do some other stuff. So that's how he promoted me.
Wow.
And he said, but I want you to make me a promise. You're not going to leave when you see how much Loblaw is paying your agency, because you're going to have privy to all these.
But it was not a written promise, so just a verbal.
Yeah, it was just a verbal thing. And then I said, no.
And you promised.
And I said, no, I'm not going to leave. I mean, and then that's how, I started helping. And he was very glad. And this guy was like the conduit to my success in Loblaw. And he would just say, I keep dropping your name. People say, drop your name when you're not there.
Is that person,
He would just drop my name and he would tell people, don't worry, Shubbie can get
And that
it.
was because you took a step. You went out of your your comfort zone.
That was because...
Did you pay the guy? Auntie Shubbie, you should have paid that guy.
the person that helped me,
Yes.
he's probably listening and
Interesting.
he knows. I mean, I've been to him several times. That's why I'm saying that, you have to be flexible. You have to have a heart to learn. You want to learn. You want to do things a different way. You have to be dedicated. There's so many things that Proverbs 22 or 29 says, show me a man that is dedicated.
And I will show you. Yeah,
He will
someone
walk among the kings.
Yeah, not me, man.
And not just ordinary men. It was a small work. I could just be doing that, getting paid, and it was $47 an hour just to manage resources.
Yeah, you were good.
And Monday to Friday, I wouldn't do anything. The only time that I work is maybe Friday to Sunday, just to make sure that people have actually, worked and then just check it. And I did something else. I said, you know what?
There's a better way.
Let's make it easier. And then that's how it is. And then every now and again, he would just take me to meetings where the executive are making decisions. And then says, do you have an idea for that?
Wow.
Do you? And he was such a good man that he wouldn't even go there and say, oh, I did it.
Would you call him a mentor or a coach?
Neither.
Okay.
Neither. Because we didn't have that kind of relationship of a mentor or, a coach. It was just someone that
was
God has just put in my ears.
Okay.
To facilitate your progress in life.
He didn't even know what he was doing.
I can imagine.
Yeah. He didn't know, but he would just say something. By the way, expect more work. I have dropped your name somewhere.
Wow.
I think that's why they say the reward for hard work
is more work. Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, Auntie Shubbie, you make it sound like everything was just going rosy, moving, blah blah blah. You have this idea. Tell us what all of those things did it take a toll on your health, on your family life, on your your personal life, whatever dimension you want to explore.
Yeah. And if it did, how did you navigate?
How
did you navigate through that?
So all those times that I've been talking about, me being a project coordinator, me taking courses, of course, there were times that I would tell my husband, for the next 5 weeks, these children are your sole responsibility. Don't ask me for food. Don't ask me what they're going to eat. Don't ask me where they're going to sleep. Don't ask me.
Figure it out.
Just figure it out.
So there's always a cost.
There's always a cost.
So it's not possible for you to act, I don't want to say it's not possible, but something has to give.
Definitely.
you have to pay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely.
And even when you said that, I can imagine it wasn't like you took your eyes off them, but at least, he was doing more of the. So what did that mean for him in terms of time to get home, being around the kids and all of that?
Trust me, anyway, my husband is not working, so it's okay.
I watch it tomorrow.
I literally have to make a list, wake them up at 7 o'clock, make sure this person doesn't give you any
tantrums.
This is what they wear on Monday, this is what they're going to eat, pick them up at this, and that, like regimental rules. Pick them up at 5 o'clock, make sure they do their homework, and don't let them play you. And in those times, I would just leave work and I would go to the library.
Oh my God.
Wow. I'll finish work. I won't even come home because I know that if I come home, I will have to say, okay, let me quickly make dinner for them. Let me quickly do the laundry. Quickly. I won't do anything. Sometimes I go to the library. I may not even be able to focus and read, but it would just be me just sitting down there and saying, okay, Shubbie, you need to do something. Do something. You need to do this. Because, one time my boss wanted me to do SAP. SAP is a huge...
Yeah, okay.
It's a huge course and the workload is a lot. And that was the time that I told my husband, don't ask me anything for 6 weeks. I don't care what they eat. I don't care, anything.
Just get it done.
Just get it done.
Get it done. Give me 6 weeks. I need to study for this. I need to pass. And then thankfully I passed. So, but those times, I mean, of course, there's so many things that will, you find out later.
But it paid off eventually.
Eventually, you paid it, but you find out later. Mommy, I forgot my lunch.
Oh yeah, of course.
Daddy forgot to put the lunch bag. Yesterday was show and tell. Daddy forgot to bring something to school. So I mean, they will tell you those stories. Like, there was a time that I don't know. They wouldn't understand that mommy was trying to get an exam, but they would just understand that we were kept with daddy, and daddy forgot to bring something to school.
Yeah.
So
what I hear you say, like you and your husband, you were working
together as a team.
As a team.
Yeah.
Regardless of where those lapses might be or those things that went great, we're working together, which is really key.
Yes.
Now, do you think that someone who has no partner to work with can pull this kind of thing you just mentioned in terms of
single dad?
Yeah, exactly. They might not even be single, but they don't have that much. The partner doesn't have so much capacity to stand in the gap. Do you get what I mean? Can they pull this weight of career change, learning an entirely different thing, going to the library to study, or do you think there are other ways to make up for, all those kind of things?
Yeah,
could you have imagined yourself?
Your network.
Okay.
It's very key.
Okay.
I always tell people that where you want to be in life, pick someone that is already there. Make friends with them. Ask them questions. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and most of the people that I listen to, and I'm not one of those people that can easily say, I'm very impressed with this person. Not because of pride.
Okay.
Not because of pride, but I pick selective people that I listen to.
I see.
And they will be women CEO that have families.
True.
There will be women CEO that have kids.
Sure.
There will be women CEO and it could be somebody in my family, my sister.
Okay.
Yeah, my sister for one. I will look at her life and I will almost like mimic and say, how did you do this? It doesn't have to be a stranger.
Yeah.
It could be someone that you know in your own circle, in your family, in your work, anywhere. Just ask them question. How did you do it?
Yeah.
So if you're a single parent or single father or whatever, single that you can, look for people in your community that can help you while you need to study.
Networking is key.
We Nigerians, we have a problem. We shy away from networking a lot.
Yeah.
Like when we're coming to this Western world, they say, be afraid of, don't give out so much information.
Yeah.
These are the people that are going to help you. These are the people that will help you when you need. I'm not saying that, tell everybody your business, but I need someone few hours. People will help you and help you pick up your kids from soccer game, drop them at home just because you've asked them.
That's true. It's a very important point you're making, because I remember a time in my life I was like, especially when I first got to Canada, I was like, booking 5 minutes, 10 minutes coffee session with some stranger that is struggling to even, cut out time for me when I have so much resources around
Within
me
your sphere, yeah.
that are willing to talk to me, that will even do high five with me. Oh no, I had her. I can imagine like me spending, of course I had some phone call conversation with her, but spending so much hours that I was struggling to get from other people. So that's one thing I think like we should all encourage ourselves. The fact that I have like a Koye beside me, Tizu beside me, Kumi, I can learn so much from them. You don't have to go too far away from
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
No.
Ask for help.
Please,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to ask for help. Somebody saw me in church on Sunday and said, "Oh, every time I want to talk to you, it's like you're in a hurry." I said, "Yes,
Yes.
I'm in a hurry." But
Catch me if you can.
no, but if you really want to talk to me, say, "I want to talk to you."
Yes.
So I may be showing that I don't have time. But
you have to
just go for it.
Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah.
At least you have not told the person I don't have your time.
Yeah.
So
So sometimes is our brain
It's a
working.
mindset thing.
It's your mindset working on you. You'll find people in church that can definitely help you do stuff. That have been there, that know people that can actually help you to get to where you've been struggling to get to.
Yeah.
It may just be a phone call for them, and you never know.
Maybe some people's fears is because they've been turned down a lot. So they have the reservation that if I go and ask this person, am I sure I'm not going to be turned down again?
so where does that
So
place
I'm
them
sure
then?
we've all been turned down one way or the other,
Yeah.
but it does not stop us from still going ahead to ask for help
To ask for
when
help,
necessary. I dare to ask, because we are probably running out of time,
Yeah.
what next?
What next in my career?
Yes.
Because you're driven,
I'm
you're
itching.
good
my hair is itching to
But I'm
because
sure there's it might not be a 5-year plan,
Well, yeah.
but what's that thing that you're probably looking at next?
I want to be an innovator.
Okay.
I'm building solutions for everyday use. One is already launched. One is going to be launched soon, next year. And always looking for ways that I can help everyday life.
okay.
Services.
The question I have is like, what resources, like you said that you listen to podcasts and all that, right? Like what resources or what people do you listen to, like that you think that they've been like, okay, the information to pass across, like, yeah, this person knows what they're saying, or she knows what she's talking about. Like, what resources or who are the people that you can mention that yes, you've gotten good nuggets from them?
To be honest with you, it all depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
So
I think that's what you're looking for, because that was what she started and then she's ending with that. It's very key.
Yeah.
What do you want, right?
See, when you're picking a mentor or someone that you want to talk to, I tell my kids, I said, you have 10 friends for 10 different reasons. One of them will always take you to a party. One of them is a spiritual friend. One of them is a person that, when you need a job, you can talk to. One of them is if I need a pick up. Yeah. One of them is...
It's a shoulder to cry on.
So you don't have one person for everything. That's why we get disappointed.
Okay.
You see, I can call myself like someone that I joke with my sister that the kind of anointing that she has, I don't have it. And we've established it. As much as we're very close, I know the anointing that falls on her. I know what I can ask her. I dream. I can, see things. Sometimes when I see things and I call my sister, I say, guess what I saw in my dream? And then she interprets it for me. That's my sister, right? She's good for that. If I need someone to scold me, I'm not going to go to her because my sister would never see anything wrong in anybody. I'll go to someone that I think to say, okay, you know what? You actually messed up on this one. So my trajectory of life will be different from the way that you're going to live your life. You have to understand who you are first.
Yeah.
Who am I? What do I need? What makes me happy? And then you can start building on those things and saying, okay, if I say, okay, I listen to Pastor Bayo for spiritual books, you don't have to listen to Pastor Bayo. I'm just taking an example.
Yes.
Maybe that doesn't work for you. You have to understand where you are, because what works for me is not going to work for you. My trajectory in my career will be different from yours. Yours might even be faster than mine, right? But if you don't know your want, your need, what drives you, you're just going to be going around. And you won't find yourself in a stable place.
Oh my God! I hope you cut each and every nugget that you dropped. You might need to listen, watch it again. This is not a one-time, definitely not a one-time watch for me. Now, final words, because of time, I just want her to drop like maybe a one-liner to encourage the viewers out there. Kumi, you drop one. Kuya, you drop one. And I'll also drop one just to tie everything together.
Yeah.
One
thing that I want to tell people when they're, I mean, I've said it in many of this conversation is, first of all, to understand who you are. What makes you happy? What makes you sad? And then you can start building your life around that.
Okay.
And if you don't know, they'll say, here, PMP is working, you go there, you won't find a job. It's cloud, you won't get a job. It's security, you won't get a job. What makes you happy? If you do understand that, then the rest of them are easy.
Thank you so much, Kumi.
I would say do it afraid. Like no matter what you do, you're always going to be afraid. That's like a personal thing that I tell myself. It's like if I'm doing this thing, I'm afraid, but just do it afraid. Like it doesn't matter.
Koye?
Don't afraid to ask for help.
Mine would be invest in yourself. That money that you have, they are using to buy clothes and shoes. Invest in yourself, get certificates, training, and the rest. And it's a wrap on this episode on career. Thank you so much.
Thank you
very much.
Till the next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.